Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first solo episode of I'm Up with Anthony Santino. I am coming at you from my couch where I usually do all of my episodes. So this week I had a bunch of people in mind and they couldn't do it and I was busy and it just didn't work out. And I'm sure I know tons of people, not bragging, I could have asked other people, but when you're busy and you're writing sketches that are never going to get made and you're writing jokes that are never going to be said on stage and you're teaching tennis to kids that smack you in the butt, things happen. Like, you're busy, like you just can't always get it done. So right now it's Tuesday morning. I have my laundry in at the laundromat. There's two laundromats on Graham Avenue near where I live in Brooklyn, and one of them closed, so now everybody's going to mine, and it's very busy, and you have to wait for machines a little longer, and that's a first world problem, and it's annoying, but it's not the end of the world. We still got machines. We're still good to go. You notice my voice, I sound a little tired, run down. I'm not sick at all, but I did have a long day yesterday. I woke up at like 6 a.m. yesterday, taught tennis most of the day. It was a good day though. Like, I have a pretty good balance. I teach tennis and I do stand-up comedy. And, I have good people I teach now. Because there have been times in the past where I would teach people and they would be weird. Like, they'd have odd attitudes. And, I'm 27 years old and maybe they're like 45 or 50 and they don't want to listen to you because they look at you and they're like, oh, you're my son's age. I don't have respect for you. And I'm like, that's great. But I teach people now who listen to me and know that I have something to give, something to offer. They're receptive, they learn, they get amazing at the sport, and that's all you could ever ask for. But yeah, I taught tennis yesterday, and then I picked up a midnight show at one of the clubs I work at. Yeah, it was good. We only got 5 people for the show. Comedy's a funny thing because sometimes you could be like, you could have a room that's so packed out. You could have a room of like 80 to 100 people or more, depending on the level you're at. And that feels amazing. That's cool. That's energetic. That's got its own flow. But then you have a room, sometimes you're doing a midnight show on a Monday. Sometimes those you can get dozens of people out, and that's amazing. And then other times it's 5 people that are all from middle America, and they take things well, no, not from me. I was gonna say they take things weirdly. My brain's just not working. They were actually like a great crowd. I remember one girl, she was kind of pounding beers, and I said something like to compliment her, and she got weird about it, but I think she just like wasn't paying attention. She heard a noise in the back, and she probably has ADHD, and she got distracted. So we had an odd moment. I kind of sounded like I do right now. I was a little tired from the day. I had a long day, but I've been drinking a lot of water and getting sleep when I can. So and I'm feeling happy and motivated because of comedy. Let's be real. You got to dive in, man. If you love something and it's not drugs, like, if it's not like a drug that's, you're addicted to, you dive into it. If it's a productive use of your time, I always think like how we're just like intelligent animals. We really are. Like, that's not to be reductive. Like, we are just like intelligent animals. And now I'm a white guy on a podcast, kind of mumbling, whispering into the mic with his low energy levels. And my dad said he wants me to help him clean the rooftop of our building today. So that's exciting and what I wanted to do. No, it's all good. I'm happy to help. My dad does a lot for me. I want to do a lot for him. And, today maybe I get some rest. What I'm very happy about is, okay, so if you're listening to this, if you know me, then you know that, I've been doing stand-up now. I've been on stage doing stand-up 2 years. I've always written comedy. I've always done sketches and stuff like that, at least since the age of like 17, 18, but never consistent enough, and then finally when I turned like, was it 24 or was I 25? I technically 25, but kind of 24. I really hit it hard with stand-up, and that's like, like I uncovered Excalibur with that. Like, that's like that was my sword. Now this is sounding too Canterbury Tales, King Arthur-y, but comedy's given me a lot, really. Like, I've gone through a lot of depressive periods, and I think since stand-ups come about, and since I've learned how to regulate, relationships and emotions in my life, and how to just keep people at bay and not deal with annoying stuff. Like I've done a better job of being happy and healthy and excited about things. I think we need to be excited about things. If you're not excited like about something, find something to be excited about. I mean, that sounds like the right solution, right? Because I find excitement out of the quotidian being the little things in life, pretty much. Like I have an iced coffee in front of me. I drank half of it. And I go to this iced coffee. I was about to say this iced coffee house. That sounds like German people moved to America, and they're like, "Yeah, this is iced coffee house. This is our new place. Yes, it's $6 for a small one." But no, I go to this coffee shop, and it's amazing. And one thing that's annoying is I go there and everything is good. The pastries are good, the sandwiches are good, the coffee is good, the people are good. They're very nice. And it's Brooklyn, so you gotta be nice, but you don't, but you do. And the one annoying thing is when you leave there, your clothes kind of smell like the stuff in the store, like the breads and the coffee mixed with bread and eggs and whatever. The problem is, even though that stuff is all amazing and actually smells good on its own, when it's on your clothes, it just smells weird. It doesn't smell bad, doesn't smell good. It just smells weird. It smells like I shouldn't be smelling like this right now, But alas, we do. But getting back to the quotidian, God, I sound like I have such little. I have energy, but I sound like I have no energy right now. I sound like I'm hungover. I'm not even hungover. I didn't even drink last night. I'm just, very little sleep. But yeah, you can get annoyed by little things, and I think you should feel emotion. But I think it's also good too to really spin zone things, spin things into, working in your favor. You should be happy with things. And like for example, I said my dad, I have to help him clean the roof, and that's something he always brings up. We're gonna do it, and we do it most years before the winter. When he first brought it up, my first thought was, I have to clean a roof. It's my one fully off day, and I have other things to do. I've got to shoot a sketch that no one's going to like on Instagram, and I have to write a joke that's never going to be said on stage. That's not funny, but by the way, I'm a killer. I write so many funny things, and if you book shows in New York, please book me, because I know there's a lot of comics and it's hard to keep track of everybody, but I simply make people laugh. I murder, I crush, whatever word you want to use in an Instagram story describing a comic who doesn't actually make people laugh. I'm just kidding. Look, that's the funny thing about stand-up too. I'm not openly competitive. I don't get weird, and I don't go around talking bad about people, but you do get competitive. You're oh, this is, I gotta show up. I gotta prove myself. I'm doing well. This person's not. Why are they you do that? I do that in my head, thankfully, because I don't think it's good to do that out loud. I think maybe sometimes I edit myself too much in life. That's a chip I have on my shoulder. I always come back to that. I'm like, I withhold too much. I'm not hiding things, but I'm too passive and nice about things when I should just express my opinion. But I'd rather be like that than be somebody who's going around blowing worlds up. I don't want to do that. I think I like to empathize with people. I like to make people happy and feel comfortable. And, when someone doesn't vibe with me, it's because they don't get how amazing I am. But that's what it is, really, kind of. Sometimes listen, we are all projecting, and it's beautiful. People use the expression projecting as a negative. It usually is a negative, but there are positive projections. You could project radiance and happiness and positivity, and you could project a good joke that we could all kind of acquiesce and agree that it's funny. I by the way, I know this is a full rant, and but if you're listening to this on Spotify, thank you for making it this far. I explained it earlier in the episode. It's my first solo episode. I don't have a guest. I do have friends, I hope. No, but my schedule didn't align with people, and vice versa. I had a busy weekend, I had a busy Saturday, busy Sunday. Those are typically the best days for me to record. Right now it's Tuesday morning, and I'm putting this up later today. And yeah, I figured maybe a solo episode's a good little breakup. I still have to get a black person on my show. I know a lot of them. I know a lot of black people. I just haven't gotten one on yet. I have a bunch in mind I have to ask. I just, you know what it is? Like a bunch of white people either kept asking, like, oh, hey, I'm down to do it. If I saw them, they'd be like, hey, I'm down to do your podcast. I had a Pakistani American person on, shout out Hamza. But I do need a black person. Not for like forced diversity. It's because I know so many black people flex that it's weird I haven't had one yet. Like, so yeah, maybe I'll ask like Ahmed to be on, or other ones. I know other ones. Just listen. My brain is barely functioning right now. Yeah. What else is going on? I mean, I'm very good with gratitude. This week I have a lot of shows. There have been very few times in my comedy journey so far where I've been able to say that and truly mean it. Like, I have a lot of shows this week. Hold on, I'm gonna take a sip of iced coffee because I deserve it. No, we all just deserve things. It feels weird to say I deserve this or that, but we all do deserve a lot. Anyway, I have a lot of shows this week. I have a bunch of the Grizzly Pear between things I was actually just booked to do and things I filled in on. I think I have 4 at the Grizzly Pear this week, and then I have one of my Brooklyn shows Thursday, October 26th at 9 p.m. at Easy Lover. Please show up to that. Hopefully with benevolent attitudes. And Friday, October 27th, I will be at the Long Beach Brewing Company in Oceanside. If you happen to be listening, I wonder if I have any true fans. The answer is probably no. I mean, my mom's my fan and my dad's my fan. Well, my dad, I think, wishes I wasn't doing stand-up comedy. Or he likes that I do it, but he thinks, like, if you're not successful within 2 months, you should quit and get a real job. And I have a job. I teach tennis, and, somehow I think that doesn't make it better. So I keep them at bay with that. I don't share every detail of every moment of excitement or failure because it just all feeds the machine of, oh, he's not going to succeed. So I'm very confident. My stuff's been working. I've been making people laugh on stage, and I see how things grow and manifest, and how the relationships you foster with people really lead to more, which is really nice to see. I'm very happy with that. Just want to say, if you're watching or listening and you've helped me at all in my comedy journey thus far, I really appreciate you and thank you, because last night we were on the show, and Chase DuRousseau, he's a very funny comic in New York, a very smart guy. I think he writes over at Comedy Central in some capacity, or he did, whatever his credentials are, he's got them. He's got cosigns from bigger comics too, like Joe Coy, some other people. But Chase is great because he injects a lot of energy into a show, whether he's hosting or just on a lineup. Like, he comes up and he's loud in a good way, and he's smart, and he engages with the audience. He brings them up on stage sometimes. Not to give a spoiler alert, but that happens. If you're at a Chase DuRousseau show, you might get brought up to the stage. You might be put on the QVC channel. You might have to just Vanna White it for a little while. It's what happens. But Chase said something really great at the end of our show last night. It was a midnight show. He closed us out in high fashion, did a great job, literally and figuratively. He dresses very well, and he does a good job all the time. It seems like. I've never seen him do poorly on stage, but he said at the end of the show, he's like, guys, I just want to say, you might think sometimes people are in the audience and they're like, oh, the comics are giving us a lot of radiance, and I'm using the word radiance. I've said it twice now. It bothers me. Let's get back to the point. Chase DuRousseau, funny comic, told the audience last night, hey, essentially, I'm paraphrasing, but he was like, you guys, you might think we're bringing you joy and whatever, but you guys are really giving us a lot. You're receptive. You're listening to us project our art up here, and we really appreciate you for that. You've been receptive. You listen well. You had fun. We had fun. And it was just nice that he put it forward like that, because, I've gotten advice in the past from people saying oh, if you're hosting, even whether it's 3 people or 300 people in the audience, make them feel like they're the best crowd ever, and, all that. Chase does it. He did it last night in a very grounded way of hey, I really appreciate you guys being here, and, you are giving us just as much as we're giving you. And it is like a connection like that. I always say, like, when I'm writing material, like, I'm like, oh, or even just working stuff out, like, I'm like, obviously you want to take risks, you got to work things, but also I never want to get up there and feel like I'm wasting their time. I don't want them to waste my time. I don't want to waste their time. I view romantic relationships like that, just interpersonal, friendly, platonic relationships like that. I view my parent relationship with my parents like that. Like, I don't want to waste their time. I don't want them to waste mine. There's just a good mutual respect in most good scenarios in life, So as much as that sounds like I'm just making up something right now, it's true. I think you want to feel like you're giving something when you're getting something. Like, now I'm trying to improve not just my stature in comedy or my stand, but like, I want to advance a little bit. I want to be able to do more road work. I've done a little road work, very little. I've done like less than 20 shows on the road, but I want to do way more. I said less than 20, it's less than 10, but I'm trying to sound better. Trying to sound cooler. But so like I have a camera, like I'm filming on this camera. It's a pretty good camera. I'm not going to talk bad about it or anything, but I will. But it's good. It's just, the problem is it's a 4K camera, but there's like a little bit of a fuzzy quality to it, just a slight bit, and like in a cool way. But I don't know if that translates to social media. And I just know there are better cameras on the market. I feel so badly. I feel like I'm talking badly I'm biting the hand that feeds me. But this is a great camera, but I think I'm going to level up and get a better one soon. Because I want to get on the road and, work with other comics, who are headlining the road. I want to be a feature act for them. And so, you think about all those things too. You think about what you can do to improve and to not just get better. Like, I'm always working on getting better at stand-up, but the business side's so important. In my opinion, there are people, they're not amazing talents, but they have found a way to succeed because they work hard and they found another inroad. They're like, oh, I'm going to film for this guy or that guy or whatever, or woman or they, and I'm just trying to figure all that stuff out now too. I think that could help me propel myself to another level. All right, guys, here is the full scenario. I realized at a certain point that I'm living such a fast life between teaching tennis and doing stand-up comedy that I was recording and didn't have enough space in my memory card. I didn't clear enough space in my memory card, and it stopped recording. And I've been drinking iced coffee, and I'm dehydrated, and I am out of breath because I just moved around my apartment for like 5 minutes. And my phone just buzzed, and I'm just not focused right now because I'm a little sleep deprived and running about 5 errands simultaneously. Long story short, I'm cutting this episode even shorter than I thought. I thought I was going to do a 30-minute, maybe 25-minute episode. This might end up being 17, 18, 19, 20 minutes, whatever it is. I didn't mean to count. We don't need to count everything in life. I'm crouched over because I didn't even frame this properly. If you're watching the video version, things just happen. Look, this podcast is very important to me, but a solo episode, let's be real, is not. I started this podcast so that I could have people on it, and this week I didn't get a person on, but remember, this is a comedy / mental health / whatever I want it to be podcast, and I would like to say I've been very happy with it so far. It's helped me connect to more people. It's put me in a good frame of mind. It's something for me to look forward to doing this podcast, so if you happen to be watching or listening to this, I really appreciate it. I thank you so much. It means the world to me, even as I crouch over on my couch with bad posture just to stay in the frame of the camera. I mean that. It means so much to me. Thank you so much for listening and watching. And I'm going to come back next week with a bigger and better episode. And it's going to be great. And hopefully it's a black person. I purposely separated bigger and better with the black person reference because, Chris Rock has the bigger and blacker special name. I'm not the first person to ever make a joke like that, but I just didn't want to make it weird, and then I decided to circle back and make it weird again. Listen, it never said it was going to be a black guy. It might be a black girl or a black they. Listen, it could be whatever, but not going to force it also. It's weird when people force it. Diversity should be natural. I live in New York. Everybody's from everywhere. So we're just making it odder and odder. Otter is an animal. Yeah, guys, thanks for listening. I'm going to clear my memory card, get the rest of my day going, pick up my laundry, and have a great one. And follow me on Instagram, maybe, just so I could feel like I'm advancing in my comedy career, because 11-year-olds make $5 million a year opening toys on YouTube. Maybe we can go viral with love and jokes. Okay, bye.